sports were colossal, squealing needles we before your is the here.
Mics, lower the music. Okay, so I think we should be good there. So what's up, everybody? This is me. I'm Francisco at Sports Goofs number 166. There we go. I had to think about it for a second. I'm joined by my good buddies Andrew and Charles here. And Andrew, what's up? You sound sniffly. You sick?
I don't know. Maybe it's allergies.
Yeah. Okay.
Who knows? But it's probably just allergies.
Alrighty. And on the other side is Charles, who's I don't know what you're feeling.
I'm depressed.
Well, that's a normal feeling. Alrighty.
I got to go back to work tomorrow. So like everybody was wondering,
the PTO's gone.
Yeah, I am a constant state of like self-depreciation and sarcasm. So when I say that, usually you become like depressed or banged up because of it. But this is just because of the fact that, granted, I've only checked my phone like 4 times since, but being able to breathe is nice because now I had a little bit of that anxiety attack of knowing that I have to be lawyer man. And I'm just gonna go finally just leave the career, go into North Dakota, and marry a bison, and just raise the land. It's what we're destined to do.
Yeah, just go to Fargo.
Listen, when you talked about back in the day the civil court, we just shot muskets at
Go to Fargo, hire some people to kill your wife. I've seen that movie at least.
What's funny? I've never seen Fargo.
Oh, okay, alrighty.
Never seen Fargo. The Coen brothers are a really weird case for me. I can appreciate it from certain movies I've seen, but I never had to, and I've been told I'm missing out. Also, didn't need to watch the show either.
I haven't seen the show. I have not gone to the show, but I've seen the movie, seen the film, and so I guess this is a sports.
That's how you should start it.
Yeah, I guess this is a sports show, so we're not just going to talk about killing wives here, but in any case,
I can talk about Steve Buscemi any day.
How do you do, fellow kids? Hey, so yeah, sports goes. I guess March Madness, the Final Four, the FAU of all teams. So yay, go Owls! I've always been an avid Owls fan, as everyone knows. Charles and I are alma mater. We bleed navy blue and red. Hoot hoot.
We say hoot hoot all the time. We look at all the greatness of every FAU person, like Alfred Morris. Yeah, that guy who was a Washington Redskins, running back. We remember those days.
Yeah,
so
it was like a season or two, right?
Yeah, all those people who are not
player remembered forget
selected in the draft, but it's okay. They hate us because they ain't us.
You know what? We haven't done this in forever. We had a player we remembered forget. Let me go to Alfred Morris because I haven't seen, I haven't heard that name in a while. So let's do it. We haven't done this segment forever. So
I will never forget him because I think he led me to my first fantasy football
championship.
See, here's the thing. You guys were there for the one season when I came back into it. But
yeah.
I would be that guy that was obsessive to kind of scout people because I like to think that, part of the political science analysis of what I did allowed me to be good at somewhat to analytics, and that transferred over into fantasy stuff. And I remember when he was drafted. That's when they had the RG3. I'm like, this man, let's get him. Let's see what he does. So I love him.
Alfred Morris, running back, 5'10", 222 pounds of muscle. Born in 1988 from Pensacola, Florida. He's 34 years old. God, man, I'm older than this guy.
Well, because I remember when he was 21 and drafted.
Yeah. Went to FAU. Picked number. Let's see. He was a 2012 6th-round pick, 173rd overall by the Washington Redskins football team, Commanders. What do you want to call them? Dan Snyder's selling the team, so people should be excited about that. And 114 games. He rushed for 1,429 yards. Or 1,429 carries. 6,173 yards. I'm like, God, that was a peak. And then 4.3 yards average. Scored 35 touchdowns. And his big. He had 2 Pro Bowl seasons. So it was 2013 and 2014. So back to back after that, and then kind of just fell off. The running backs burn brightly, burn quickly. So there you go. All right, Alfred Morris. That's all he did. He played for Washington. They went off over to San Francisco and Arizona and the New York Giants to finish out his career, and hasn't played since 2020. So that's it.
His last team was Giants, right?
Yeah, that was last team was with the Giants. He played 9 games, and that was it. And so,
I think he had spurts of being good.
Yeah, I don't know what his game logs are here, and I don't think he ever played in a single playoff game. So
no, he had to in the first season.
Really? He did? I don't think playoff 6.
He was with RG3.
Oh, okay. I guess they don't put playoff stats here on the Pro Football Reference, or I'm not looking at the right spot. But either way, and they show you all his fantasy points here too, as well. So I guess somewhere in there, Charles is a very happy man.
He was an originator of the Baby Bessos.
And got 2 awards, All Rookie Team in 2012 and 2013 Top 100, and got some Players of the Weeks and made 2 Pro Bowls, and that's it. So there you go. So that's Alfred Morris, the one guy. The one. FAU is a basketball school now, so that's
almost
how it be.
Definitive basketball school.
What?
The definitive basketball school.
Oh, now it is.
Florida, or
Maybe. Well, it depends. We'll see. We might get that final. Well, the Hurricanes are transitioning into it. Well, actually, it's not transition. It's happened. They are now our basketball school. They're in the ACC. It only makes sense. They've been in the ACC like, oh, we're going to do great in football. Never won the ACC championship. And look, they win ACC championships in what? In basketball. You're a basketball school now, UM. Just take it, man. Basketball's on the rise. It's a global sport. Why not be a basketball school? Everybody's having fun with it.
May I defend?
Go ahead.
All right. I am perfectly fine, 100%, with the U transitioning into a basketball school, because basketball, college basketball, and Andrew's going to shout at me, but sometimes we have to leave it for debate, is arguably bigger for college sports than college football. We can all agree it's better to be good at either basketball or football than college baseball, college lacrosse, maybe not the hockey. I know there's a little bit of a following going on there, but to have some kind of consistency, and considering the fact that, and I don't like to listen to sports radio anymore, really transitioned away from it. But what I've been finding is a lot of them come into the agreement that all the number 1 seeds got ousted here. So the idea is that it's fantastic for the viewership. Terrible, I think Greenberg said this, terrible way to decide a championship. But that argument also falls foul to the college football playoffs. So what do you want? If a 9 seed, this is where Andrew should love college basketball, because it's not as rigged as college football, where you can have these teams that are just kind of put in play. It's just the best team advances on that day. The season means nothing. As a UM fan, I guess is what we'll say, because FAU might tear me up a little bit. What can I say? They out of the 2 schools I went to, they're the one who didn't damage my soul for student loans. So I do love FAU for that, and they gave me the hoot hoot. It's interesting. What, they went to the Elite 8 last year. got eliminated. Now in the Final Four. I did not expect them to beat Houston. I think I put you guys in the chat when these came out. I was like, oh, we're gonna get fucking totaled by Houston. I anticipate actually us getting to the Sweet 16. I would say that's where my loyalty went on. I had kept an eye on them throughout a little bit of the season because I liked Jim Larinaga. I liked Jim Larinaga 10 years ago. The thing with Larinaga was I don't think he was like the strongest recruiter. I feel the ACC got swallowed up with Krzyzewski and Roy Williams always being there in the ACC, and Duke and UNC were always going to kind of get those blue bloods is what we'll call them, those blue chip prospects. But the NIL, the transfer portals really kind of helped out. And this is actually where I think it's more beneficial in college basketball than college football. I guess this is a two-tier argument that maybe we can segue all collectively together about what the benefits have been. But there's nothing wrong with being on a college basketball team and being that as your definition if you're actually having a shadow of consistency. And this could possibly be consistent, right? You can have it to where you're the Elite Eight last year, you get to the Final Four this year. I really don't think they're going to beat UConn. UConn just kind of seems like, hey, forget the 4 seeding. We're just here. We're really like one of the better teams. But
the only blue blood that actually made it. So
yeah, which is just typical UConn with Jim Calhoun and Kevin Ollie. It would just make total sense that the new generation of their coach, whose name escapes me, is going to do it. It just feels like that's UConn. It's not the dominant thing, but they're never the school that was overhyped, such as a Michigan State or even Syracuse, right? But I think if you can get into that consistency, because I feel that being the team that just gets to the Elite Eight or the Final Four or the Sweet 16s and you do it consistently is good for your boosting, it's good for your views. It's maybe gets you some transfer players now, but it's good for the viewership because March Madness is highly proliferated. Whereas you could be like in some of these bowls in the college football playoffs that really don't matter. And even if you're I always pick on them, and I'm sorry, but you could be the Notre Dames that for some reason always get there and shouldn't be there at all, and you're just the gateway to a championship for the opposing team that you play. It just happens each time. So I'm okay with it because you want to know why? I would rather, I won't say die, but I would rather probably lose a pinky toe or 2 toes on my left foot because it's already kind of butt foot than see Mario Cristobal succeed and his fake-ass Miamiism that comes in.
Shoving down croquetas
And all this stuff because I think even if they got to a number 1 ranking, the UM fans would be more obnoxious because here's the thing I think about UM fans who are only based to the football aspect.
Yeah,
they only want
never been to the campus, don't care about the baseball or the basketball.
Yeah, they only want the football city. Why? Because these plethora of fantastic players, from Michael Irvin to what you have now in the NFL, Rosu and Jillian Phillips, that came into the past, the present, and everything in between, and then your Ray Lewis's and Ed Reed's and all that stuff. You only come into the big leagues. I can't name you a person off the top of my head in basketball. Shane Larkin, there you go. 2012. I don't think he was even a first round pick.
Barry Larkin's son.
Yeah, he got into the second round. But I rather want that because I think, that argument of siblings hate siblings, but they love siblings, they protect siblings. That doesn't work. Or half siblings. That doesn't work with overall sports fans versus just you are clearly only based to one particular sport in the school. Now, mind you, I don't give a shit about UM's baseball team, lacrosse, and stuff like that. But that college ball has never interested me. You guys know this. But I can enjoy UM basketball. I can easily just get as frustrated with UM basketball as I can with UM football. But for the people who want that, that's who the success of Mario Cristobal is going to bring out. And I remember Andrew putting in the chat, oh, the UM fans are going to be insufferable. No, they will never be as insufferable as the people if UM and Mario Cristobal succeed. Because you can see you already know the names if he succeeds. It's a damn sugar ball. They're called the University of Mario. And I'm like, I can't do that. We're going to go to the Cristobal football playoffs. I'm like, I can't live with that. Because I remember when they hired him and he coached Oregon's bowl game, I was like, this is the guy they hired? I put it in the chat. I'm like, oh, I got reservations. I was probably the only person who did. And then just what I saw, the ineptitude of offense And you can't say we didn't get the right players to build a program because the floodgates had kind of opened on transfer portals being easier. You're not having Nick Saban just blockading people these days.
Yeah.
You know, which Saban talking all that shit. You know he wants to get the transfer portal. I'm all for Jim Larinaga just getting the NYA in Miami. Guys, we know that doesn't make sense, but work with me here. It's just fun little catchphrases. But I'm for it just because I think it, one, helps out the ACC. If you looked at the biddings, especially also for FAU, who's American, right? Is that where they're based off of?
They're Conference USA, but they're moving to the next one, right? Next year?
Yeah. Like, work with me here. So the Conference USA, maybe that's where I thought USA and America. But this helps out getting more bid selections than having your predominant guys. So what basketball is usually Big Ten. ACC used to be bigger, but we know there's going to be some discriminatory practices because the two big names are retiring. But I just think it's good for basketball to have, whether it's San Diego, FAU, or UM, kind of at least getting, no matter what, they're all going to get to the finals. But maybe winning that because the transfer portal opens that up, because I do think you get better. You can sell me. This is where I'll lead into if you want to go into how this might be different than college football, Andrew. You can sell me that a 9, because I think about Butler all the years back where Brad Stevens got famous. You can sell me that like a 7 seed or 8 seed could actually beat an overall 1 or 2 or 3 versus seeding in the college playoffs where they're like, here's Notre Dame, here's Notre Dame. And I don't want to make it about a UCF 20-minute talk, Andrew, but I'm still going to throw it in there. I'm sorry. Or a UCF can beat a Bama in a college football playoffs. You know what I mean? But March Madness is more of that fill versus football. And I think part of that is because you do get better talent in the transfer portal. That's my 20-minute dialogue on it. I brought in other stuff that's relevant for other guys to talk about. Go ahead.
Okay. So what's the question you're posing to Andrew?
The best thing about March Madness or the opening of the transfer portal benefits more of parity for college basketball and making history versus college football. Because I think that's how you got a certain rise of talent. Such as
I was going to talk about the hypocrisy of people like, oh man, the college basketball.
I will also take the hypocrisy.
The March Madness is the greatest tournament because everybody's got a chance. And like the moment that we have 3 never before winners before, and 1 blue blood, even though UConn hasn't won in a while, right? When was the last time UConn won? Was Kemba? When Kemba was there? When Kemba was there?
No, Kemba was Butler. Kemba was Butler.
Okay.
Was he? No. It was like 2012. It was my first year of law school, and Kevin Ollie had got it. Jim Calhoun had literally retired like the year prior, and you're like, what the hell is this nonsense?
Okay. So they haven't won in like a decade. So that's it's either way they're blue blood.
But remember, they also had sanctions because Kevin Ollie had team put on probation.
But regardless, you only got 1 blue blood, and everybody's talking about the college football playoffs should be like more like the college basketball playoffs with the all the 64 teams. And like the moment it happens, people are already writing articles. Man, this is going to be boring. There's no Kentucky. There's no Duke. There's no UCLA. I'm like, what the fuck do you all want?
There's some people who don't even want the 8-team expansion.
And I'm like, It's so it's like, oh, this is like in baseball it's only the Yankees and stuff, but it's like, but I'm like, well, then if you guys, if it really does take that type of team, then what's the whole point of doing this? Why don't you just do it like college football then and just have, by reputation all these teams are making it, How does Oklahoma make to that many college football playoffs and then fail every single time, just like Notre Dame, So it doesn't make any sense. So people are straight up hypocrites. I love like freezing cold takes and stuff. They're putting stuff that people had said beforehand, and of course people call out people awful announcing as well on the internet, and people are calling out some I think Ben Boleyn wrote something like that was just like, oh, this is just complete bullshit. And even though he's in his own bracket for like worst sports writer, which is funny, but I don't know, I'm like, this is cool. FAU, man, if FAU wins the national championship, my goodness gracious, the like just the metric ton impact that's gonna happen in Boca Raton and Palm Beach County. Like just put that school on the map.
The one thing I'm going to say is that it's ironic that FAU is the one who could win in basketball when football was the one that hired the big names. Lane Kiffin,
that's true.
Willie Taggart,
Howard Schnellenberger did started the program. So yeah, they've been putting all this stuff on the football. They brought big big new football stadium and everything like that. You know, and yet it's the basketball team that's finally bringing them all of this. There's something the football team can even dream of. I don't even know what I'm sure Andrew knows this answer. I don't know what significant bowl game FAU's even won, you know, or what was the most significant bowl game. I don't know, something like Music City Bowl or something stupid like that. I'm not sure. And yeah, and this is another thing, right? This is why I prefer this than the college football one with all those bowl games. It's like, I don't give a shit if Florida State is playing in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl or the Gaylord Perry, I don't know, you know, in Memphis, Tennessee, you know, like the only
I watch a lot of meaningless games at the beginning of or the tournament 2 and 32, whereas you can't catch me watching some bowls unless there's something on and I just have to play my Switch. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So like, I mean, sheesh, the only good ones, of course, the New Year's Six and of course the Sun Bowl in El Paso. Those are the only good bowl games out there. And then that's it, right? That's all anyone cares about. Like March Madness, sure. Look what happens. The 16 seed once again beat a number 1. So that hey man, there's something. Everybody like as soon as as soon as you get to halfway point, it's like okay. As soon as that happens, let's turn the TVs and see if Fairleigh Dickinson can actually pull this off, and they did. So like that's never going to happen in college football. You're never going to have that type of
Tulane's never beating Bama.
Disparity, you know. Like we'll expand this playoff. We'll see what happens. We'll see. But that 8th seed's not going to be a team that's I guess the competitive equivalent of Fairleigh Dickinson and a lot of these 16 seeds here, you know. So and I like the fact that you have all these smaller schools, but sometimes those smaller schools. I mean, FAU isn't like awful. What they're a 9 seed, right, or 8 seed? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, 9 seed. So it's not like they're like right in the middle of their
that being the 4th seed
of their region, you know. So yeah, so that's it's not like they're terrible.
They also went 33-3, man.
Yeah, they ran pretty much almost the entire table there. So they're really good. I'm finding out about it. I'm glad I follow some people thanks to the Mar and stuff that cover FAU and just like, oh, okay, cool. All right, now we're all finding out about this. So, yeah, man, just the insane amount of like this. I'm buying FAU stuff. I'm looking on lids and all this stuff to try and find an FAU hat right now. That's.
I'm not gonna lie. I will buy a FAU shirt for the gym.
Yeah, why not?
People know
Final Four.
Old man who's really his glory days.
This did not come from Africa. You know, it's like you know.
And you guys know I was looking at that hat when I was in there at Lids the other day, just in case.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I actually need something to verify. I don't buy just on an impulse. If you're trash, I don't acknowledge.
Yeah, and hats are expensive nowadays. Now they're average. If you want a really good one, like the fitted ones from Major League Baseball, they're like $45 now. So it used to be a clean 35, but everything's gone up in price. So there you go. But yeah, Andrew, you're a resident basketball guru. What do you think of this tournament? What?
You love basketball.
Yeah,
you watch it all the time. You do tweet a lot about basketball and baseball, so I'm interested.
I mean, everything that you've been saying is not wrong. That's why I haven't said anything aside from the Conference USA American Athletic Conference thing. But
I do want you. What was the last significant bowl game FAU has ever won? Do you know off the top of your head?
It probably have to be the 2019 Boca Raton Bowl because they took down SMU.
So they basically won their own home game.
Right, and they beat SMU, which had what's his name? They had a really high-powered offense. Some Shane dude.
So that was when Lane was there, right?
Yeah, it was. So, yeah.
That was his last year.
Oh, okay. Alrighty.
He did what he had to do. Good on him.
Yeah, got his bearings, got a little practice in to go off to a bigger program, which we all knew was going to happen.
I was right. Shane Buechel, I think is how it's pronounced. SMU was on fire that year in terms of their offense. They scored, let's see, 37 points, 49 points, 47, 48, 41, 48, 43, 45, 34, 48, 59, 28, and 37. So they scored a shit ton of points. And then they just got absolutely demolished by FAU. I was there for that one, covering it for RCFB. They got demolished 52-28. But that was also the year that FAU won their, I want to say, second Conference USA championship. So that was overall, I would say, probably their biggest year.
Okay. So pre-pandemic, not too long ago, but still nowhere near the magnitude of this.
No, not at all. And that's the thing. In terms of, like my sister, she went to Tulsa for her undergrad, and I distinctly remember. I don't remember anything about the tournament run, but I remember that she had a T-shirt, and she's really not into sports all that much, but she had a T-shirt commemorating the team's run to the Sweet 16. The Sweet 16, they didn't even get to the Elite Eight or anything. They got to the first round where there's actually a different name for it. So in terms, I would say absolutely, in terms of what will give a school the most notoriety, a deep run into March Madness will absolutely do that without question, more than any sort of bowl game. With certain exceptions, like UCF, for example, but let me even taking the national championship thing out of it, which I'm doing it for argument's sake, Charles.
But this is my fault because I knew I was put in there, but it's to work the hypothetical, though, because I have actually an attachment to support you. I'm going to say it now because I know I might lose track. If FAU wins, this is good for college football to analyze, to expand, and maybe teams that aren't like heavily loved, such as the UCF to 2017, of why they should have included. There, I supported you. Kill on.
So, I mean, you know, I said this in the chat. I despise Miami fans in general just because of how unsufferable they can be.
Yeah, they're in denial.
But at the same time, I do want them to beat.
What happened?
I do want them to beat UConn because I want there to be a David versus David final. You know, we're guaranteed one finalist. It's going to be FAU versus San Diego State. You know, obviously hard to believe I'm saying this, but the Goliath in that situation is San Diego State.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn played for them.
I mean, their football uniforms are fantastic, especially their helmets. But in terms of notability, nothing beats a deep March Madness run. You know, no one had heard of UMBC. No one had heard of
Fairleigh Dickinson.
No one had heard of Fairleigh Dickinson.
The Peacocks last year.
Right.
We're bringing it back for you. We got you.
Thank you. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted into my game for a second. I'm bringing it back.
Oh, so Andrew's gaming. All right.
Yeah, what are you gaming? Hold on. Pause. What's everybody playing right now?
Donkey Kong Country 2.
I'm doing WWE because I got hyped for WrestleMania.
I was going to play Donkey Kong. I'm going to go through the trilogy. I'm going to start with Donkey Kong 1.
All right.
But
Everybody's doing their background.
but I opted to not because I wanted to be able to dedicate my full 100% attention to the game.
You kind of do need it for one.
Yeah, for a platformer, yeah.
I
But he has
didn't want to
rewind
make this. I didn't want to make the same mistake as I did during Kingdom Hearts because I feel like there were parts where I was kind of missing out on the experience while playing.
Yeah,
I don't want to make that same mistake again. But anyway, going back to the UCF thing.
But what are you playing right now? Because that's what we want to know.
That was the Boslin conversation.
Oh.
What are you
Well,
playing?
yeah,
on
let's
just
Podcast
say-
Five on the show.
Well, I'm going to be discussing the Frozen 4 in a little bit, so I decided to play NHL 21.
Oh, okay.
Again, it's
Alrighty.
it's a mindless game that I don't have to put 100% attention to.
Okay.
Must be nice to be able to play a hockey game.
Oh no! Are we gonna bring it back to buying NHL 23?
I'm just saying. I could have known
Look,
so many people. in hockey gaming, but-
let's all go in on NHL 24. I got an Xbox One that's coming in this week. I can actually play these games now because EA hates PC gamers, so I can at least do something with something.
That's gonna be my favorite argument with Andrew, just to trigger him until I actually buy the damn game, which we pretty much know it's gonna happen. But anyway, Andrew, continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's generally speaking, I mean, like I said, there's some exceptions. Like for example, Tulane beat USC in the Cotton Bowl this year. That gave them a huge boost.
And they had a big game. They had a big season. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the odds of having a huge boost in whatever you want to call it, enrollment or applications filed or
NIL.
interest or I'm just talking about the school in general.
FAU,
Like,
all those schools will get so many boosters now, man. It's great.
Right. It's again, college basketball is less recognized. I don't know how to describe it. It's you get more notability, generally speaking, if your school is a blue blood in football than you are in college.
Ooh,
I would say.
I do not agree with that at all.
Mate.
Ooh, you have real legitimate rivalries in. Sidebar. One, I don't agree with it.
I think I agree with Andrew on this one.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna side with him.
Let me explain. Let me explain why. And I'm not saying that. And I'm just talking general audience.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
Some
Maybe.
Casuals.
I don't.
I have a counter.
I'm
I
just
have a big
talking.
counter.
If you just go up to some random dude on the street and say, name one really good college football team. It's Orlando, so we'll probably say Florida or Florida State. Or if you go somewhere else, they'll say, win one for the Gipper, Notre Dame, go Irish, or USC or Ohio State or fucking Alabama. The past decade or so. But then if you said, what do you think of when you think of, so if you just said, name one good football team, you'd say Alabama or whatever. But if you said, name one good college basketball team, they'd have to think about it for a second.
No.
And again,
What?
this is just the average person who knows nothing about sports.
I feel like he's right.
Ooh, can I lock and load this?
I feel like he's right. I feel like I'm thinking casuals, man. I'm thinking casuals.
I got the counter argument to be shot in two sentences.
Okay.
All right. First and foremost, you have the dominators that people know: Duke, UNC. Two of those right off the cuff, right there. What you know. Women's, you go with UConn because Jenna Auriemma, always doing some stuff. You also got Baylor in there, going from there. They have those mega big places that people look into. You have your Bama.
I'm gonna be honest here, Charles, and I hate to say this.
You are so minimal in basketball.
If you bring up Baylor, somebody, what do you think of when you think of Baylor college sports? The first thing they're going to think of is the sex scandal.
I think of Don Baylor, who's the Colorado Rockies manager. He didn't even go there, I think.
Or
Baylor is for
think about
the women.
If
Hold on. You had your time. I'm taking this time real Clement because I have the counterpoint. Because everybody knows Duke, UNC, and it's fine. But we have to moderate this. The other thing, too, you talk about casuals, buddies, brackets. That gets into your gamblers and your casuals because people have the need for competitiveness and it will follow their bracket. Now, mind you, maybe they give up in the bracket if their bracket's busted, but no one has the perfect bracket.
I feel like
you get everybody. You even have Warren Buffett or whatever.
Warren Buffett, right? Yeah.
You even telling people every time there's a bracket, I'll give $1 million. There's more incentivization because you already know who's getting the number one seed. It's Bama.
I feel like. I feel like Mac when they were debating, and I have to get like that board, and I'll take like 3 hours just to make it, and then we'll just be
but you want to talk
debating
about
religion.
Casuals? There's nothing more open because you know what? You got people, guys. No one's Jay Willis or Billis, whatever his name is, coming in knowing all the 64 teams in there. You got people who like their college basketball having to get invested in schools they don't know. And following those, it is the ultimate trap. It's the honey pot. You know who 2 of the 4 are always going to be. The next 3 years is going to be Bama. It's going to be Georgia with a little pepper USC, a little pepper of, God forbid, Ohio State. Have I, as a person, as a fan who likes college football, watched the finals in full the last 3-4 years? Yeah. Right? The word bracket. You have legacy. You got bracket. And you're going to get people who think they know college, and then they're going to find out they're more of a casual than anything because they're going to figure out the Fairleigh Dickersons. They're going to figure out the which one's the sister jeans, Loyola, all that fun stuff. Boom. And that's going to wrap people around. Butler is your clear example. Butler was the gateway, even. Look what Brad Stevens is, Kemba Walker, all those other fun cats.
I feel like
that's just an argument.
Okay. I mean, I'm just sitting here. I'm just thinking from like oh man, and I probably just
dumb bracket.
I just have no. I mean, I don't do brackets, but I don't have the patience for it. But like I get it because like you have like little offices of like suites of people just like, okay, we're doing a bracket this year, and Carol from accounting, you have your bracket for this year, and she's just like, okay, this team looks pretty, like I think that's I can see it on that front, but I also but I also on the other side I think like I think like when the college football national championship, I don't know. I just feel like people will know those programs
national championship. You just said you don't watch those meaningless bowls. You're not watching the Durex Cotton Bowls, right? No, we're not there. Are you going to watch the first 64? Are you going to watch the first ins? Possibly.
So
because it's proliferated on TNT, TBS, True TV, CBS.
I think
all those fun things.
So from a casual, friendly standpoint, college basketball is easier to get into and easier to kind of hitch your wagon to a team, right? Especially if you make a dumb bracket. Carol from accounting has made a dumb bracket, and she's running the table with the pretty owls. Like she's into it, right? So I can get that. Yeah, the gambling aspect as well. Because I mean, I don't know who's gambling on bowl games, but but like all those bowl games.
Everyone gambles on bowl games.
I get it, but I don't know, man. Gamblers are gamblers. They'll gamble on spring training games.
Keep up to it. You're gambling on just certain bowl games, right? Coming into it, and some of them are going to be the blowouts that you know. But with basketball, you get those gamblers on the last 2 minutes, what the score spread's going to be, all this stuff.
I don't know.
This is a sports show, everybody.
Holy crap!
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, this is a great
the last
debate,
2 weeks,
and
we
there's
kinda
really
took
no
it
real
out of it.
answer to it. But I think we've already stated our positions.
I
So
will be team basketball.
All
All
right.
It's gonna be like that.
yeah, I mean it's kind of been the show, right? So okay, but I can see both points on both sides. But I still think college basketball is more user friendly in that sense. But
Letting Andrew finish his thought, though.
okay, yeah. I don't know if he has a final thought.
I
On the way,
mean,
go
I
Owls.
don't think I have too much more to add. I mean,
Go
I don't think I
Owls.
have too much more to add.
And let me ask you this, Andrew: is it because the sport preferences for you is college football over college basketball? Because that might be the deciding factor. There's just some people who legitimately just aren't into one over the other. And even if you could be casual, if you don't have a introductory basis to want to like it, it's not going to be your gig, and that's fine.
I mean, so for some people, like it's hard. Like my dad, like during the tournament, because he's seen like when the Heat are in the playoffs and stuff like that, right? I mean, it's a whole different thing with like the NBA. So sometimes he'll watch these tournament games and he's like, they're making so many mistakes. I'm like, well, it's college, That's kind of the suspenseful part of this is that these
These
kids
guys are
even
not going to go to the pros, man.
yeah, even the guys who are on some of the big blue blood teams, like some of them was like, okay, this is as high as they're gonna get, Only a few of these guys are one and doneers that are just gonna pop into the NBA. So, and NBA only has so many spots per year, especially with the international players. So that you're gonna get all of this, variety and all these variables that's gonna play into some of these games. It's just the excitement of the madness of March. So I get that. I forgot what my point was at the end of this. But regardless, anyways.
Andrew?
I would just say that people only have a general caring more about college football over the course of a season, whereas people generally only care about college basketball when it comes to March Madness.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's the
I can't
whole
even
thing.
tell you when college basketball starts. Like somewhere in November, maybe. I have no idea. Then they start like on top of like
It
a
usually starts
aircraft carrier or something.
And I'll concede that point.
Usually
to Andrew.
starts.
It is November.
That's
November.
kind of what I was getting to a little. It's toward the middle to end of November.
But
That
there
was
is a
kind of
flip
what I
side
was
to that
getting
point.
to with the casual fans thing. Is that damn it, I'm losing concentration again.
You casual fans are only going to care at the very end, coming February to March. Is that what the thought process was?
The gravity of the
much.
games
I mean-
for college football because there's not as many of them. And the rivalries as well. Because
and then also, you have college game day. Everyone goes. You've got the
Big
league course, so
rivalries.
it's ahead. You've got the tailgates. You have the big rivalry games.
I think we could all benefit
It's-
without having
you-
a Corso anymore. Just saying.
well, he's retired, right? So,
No,
oh, he's still going. Oh, yeah, well, he's a Florida State
Yeah.
Seminole, right? So yeah.
yeah. He was roommates with Burt Reynolds
Yeah.
at FSU.
Love Gator up in his house.
But anyway, that's just the nature of a sport that only has 12 regular season games.
Can I offer my counter when you're done?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
College
I
football
think.
matters not to iHeart fans until their team loses that 1 or 2 games. They know they're outside the college football playoffs.
That's me.
Yep. That's the whole thing. It can go ebb and flow, but the idea is that if my team lost 3 games, we're still going to have a chance. Damn it, right? We're going to have a chance to do something. The influx for college football is you don't even get. I think about the Jimbo Fisher, Texas Tech, a couple years back, right? They were a 5 seed because they lost 1 game, but arguably they were better than Notre Dame because Notre Dame, for whatever reason, is a goddamn gateway. I just don't understand. I hate that program. There's so many reasons to hate that program, but that is just always my reason of like, why do you get special selection? I don't understand. But I think on the inverse, even for the fans, casual or not, it goes into okay. If there's the one thing I'll concede to you on this. Hold on, I think I opened up an argument that you haven't thought of, but we're free thinkers here because I think I hold my theory that if you have 1 or 2 losses, it's over. But I have seen weird freaking people who, if bless you,
Salud.
bless you,
Salud.
if they're like Auburn fans, right? For example, and Auburn just sucks ass. What are they going to do?
Ooh,
I'm an
salud.
SEC, bless you. They're going to be like, I'm an SEC guy. I have not seen that kind of happen in college basketball. Really, the influx has been, I'm just going to support this team because I like Cinderellas.
Yeah, you sure
But
as hell
you
aren't going to
have
see a UNC fan support Duke just because they're in the ACC.
Yeah, because rivalries are better there. But you are going to have more Cinderellas in college ball. So I don't know if we're at a proverbial stalemate or if this is an argument that we have to come back to 4 years from now. But I'm very happy we're taking this chance.
I think we'll see what happens with this expanded playoff and see if like it can compare. And that's something we can talk about in the future once it's like done. Especially if like I don't know, maybe something crazy happens, right? And then maybe we could be like, okay, maybe they found their equivalent in some sort of way. But for now, it ain't there in college football at the very least. But we'll see. Yeah, that's an experiment that they're trying. Boy, we're at 46 minutes now. So we talked about sports. Holy crap. Yeah. For real.
Well, I guess while we're still on the I like this format, guys. I think, spend like the first, 45 minutes actually talking about one sports topic.
Maybe.
Because it's kind of the only sports topic we have right now, man.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Aaron Rodgers not making a decision yet? I fucking don't.
No, everybody else talking about NFL free agency. I don't give a shit. Yeah, Tua's still not it. But
I'll make my 2 quotes
Lamar's
about Lamar
coming?
Jackson when Lamar comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unless I could just do that now or when after injuries.
Can we wait till he goes someplace? Because it's just a trade. Like he's okay. He's I want to leave Baltimore.
I just want to speak to Ron Coffin.
Okay. Go ahead.
But Andrew had something to finish off on.
I was just gonna note who the teams in the Final Four are for the women's tournament.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Well, the Canes are out, so yeah, but they had a good run too. That would have been something if both of them went, but anyways,
I think the Indiana Hoosiers hates us so much because we eliminated both their men and the women's team on the same day. Fantastic.
ACC put it out like, oh, we're the only conference with teams represented because they have Virginia Tech in there.
Yep.
Alrighty.
So the teams are South Carolina, who is undefeated on the season. Iowa, who is led by Caitlin Clark, who just absolutely dominated in the last game. She got the first ever 40-point triple-double in either the men's or women's tournaments. So she scored, what was it?
It's like you go, girl. We got everything here.
She got 41 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists. She either scored or assisted on every field goal in the team's first 25-point first quarter. And this is the first time the Hawkeyes have been to the Final Four since 1993. So South Carolina and Iowa, that's going to be a slugfest. And then on the other side of the bracket, you've got LSU and Virginia Tech. Those games are Friday, March 31st. And then the national championship is on Sunday, April the 2nd. So it'll be all the games are at the American Airlines Center in Dallas. And then, as previously mentioned, for the men's tournament, you've got San Diego State facing off against FAU on Saturday. And then on the other side of things, you've got Miami facing UConn. The final is on April 3rd at 9:20 p.m. on CBS. So that'll be very interesting.
You're going to do this shit during WrestleMania. I hate everything.
That's true. Oh, I was going to say that. All this stuff is happening on Saturday.
Yeah,
Charles is gone.
I'm gonna be literally at that charity event, looking at my phone, trying to network, and be like, "Nah, man, I'll say that."
Yeah, and I think I saw like they had put out like one of the college women's games actually scored a higher rating than any NBA game that ESPN has broadcast this year. So far, the NBA is kind of I've been so apathetic of the NBA this year. I really have been. So I can kind of feel that.
On a halftime show, I would feel the same way. I'm gonna take those digs while I can.
Well, I mean, they can't compete with TNT, right? So you know. And Charles Barkley's getting the ire of people lately.
Angry old man yells at the sky. Charles Barkley.
Yeah. Well, it's part of being a Charles, right?
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? Chuck ain't wrong about a lot of stuff. We just don't care. That's what it is. It's like I kind of acknowledge maybe you're right, but it just doesn't have any effect anymore.
Yeah,
and that's worse than being right or wrong, right?
But it's always fun seeing KD getting all hot and bothered and just like, fuck you. The pettiness of KD.
But it's not even petty. It's like, why do they? Out of all the players, they're the ones that focus so much on him for every single reason. So, like, no one, like Chuck hasn't been on other teams as the one team. You know, you just have more liberal.
That's why he went to the Rockets. Yeah,
you have more abilities here to just go elsewhere. You would have done the same thing. He's not even chasing championships at this point. He's chasing the money to get championships as well.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is Brooklyn was such an abject failure that we have to, for some reason, blame like it's KD when the guy was the only one who was playing for them on the playoffs the time that he was there. Kyrie couldn't be for the vaccination issues, and Harden just, was in and out for a day.
Done.
If anything, you should
He's done.
the ownership for making this. I gotta defend him. Let's take a minute to defend KD. It's not NBA.
Oh no! We love KD out here, man.
Players we're here to defend. That's our segment right now. I just want to know, out of all the players in the NBA, what is it that people hate so much? Because I have seen other players. Y'all were willing to go to Gilbert Arenas and just support his ass. Y'all supported Kobe. When you really shouldn't have supported Kobe. Colorado, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but there's just certain players. Look, LeBron walks so KD could fly when it comes to the hatred. But, with KD, 2 rings, got all in Golden State, was the missing piece in order to kind of get everything
turn that into a dynasty. Yeah,
to basically contribute to dynasty. Remember, they got KD to beat LeBron, and that says something. And y'all just hate, but he is just one of those over-scrutinized good guys. What if he's been on every single team? But man, you guys do realize he's also been playing for a long-ass time.
Since he was 19, right?
Yes, he was 1934. So what he did was he pulled the Karl Malone, except he was able just to get his rings ahead of time. Ooh, did that burn a lot of people? I think it did. Everybody who was at the end of their career, and I don't think KD's at the end of his career, but about 3 years, I can see him just walking away if the injuries persist. Maybe I'm not his publicist, but I'm just going on ideas. I'm not his agent. But we just hate this guy for a reason. And they call him soft. They call him angry because he responds back. But I clearly remember Charles Barkley saying, I ain't no role model for the kids. That's what the daddy's for. I'm just saying, if we're going to throw rocks and glass houses, either make sure it shatters everything in one shot or just make sure it doesn't leave a mark. You can't have the image. I'll defend KD the same way I defend LeBron. He had to beat Miami.
I can't wait till KD's post career, man. I feel like I don't know if he would actually be like a panelist on one of these NBA Inside the NBA whatever. I feel like I don't know if he's like mainstream like that. I feel like he'll set up something for himself because he has a lot of insight as to the game of basketball, like just growing up through it, going through college, going through all of this. And if you follow his Twitter account, he's always got something insightful about it, and I think he probably would be the best guy to kind of illuminate on that because he's got the clout for it, compared to other players. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer, and he's been great at every step of the way, and he's got the attitude where he doesn't care what feathers he ruffles in order to peel back the curtain, kind of show all the inside guts of the NBA and basketball in general, from college to travel leagues and all that stuff as a kid, all that stuff. I feel like he's got a lot to say, so it's gonna be great. So that's what I'm looking forward to for KD.
People are just salty that he left OKC, forgetting that everybody left their homegrown place to leave for titles, except for Kobe and Dirk. And let's not forget that Kobe was trying to bail out as quickly
So
as
many
he
times.
could, so many times, as quickly as he could, and it just couldn't happen. And then Dirk was Dirk, but Dirk is the guy who could basically say, he could be allergic to something, and then be like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Do you want me to get something new?" He's like, "No, it's okay. I don't want you to go through the bar." That was Dirk Nowitzki, and we understand that. A lot of the other guys, except for present company of Steph and Clay for the moment, and Giannis, unless Giannis bails out, they're gonna head out. But it's okay because at the end of the day, the NBA isn't about the team; it's about the player, and I love that. The NFL let that kind of subjugation go on, whereas one man is very brave and wants to bail out because the Ravens want to underplay him. Even though the market now says you should get guaranteed money, fully guaranteed of the contracts. Blame Jimmy Haslam for him. Lamar, come to Tennessee, please. Ron Coughlin, I'm a positive.
Here
we
it
had
is.
success with
We
one.
got 5 minutes, so
mobile-
we're at the 1 hour mark. You can take something.
We had success with one mobile quarterback and a great running back many, many, many moons ago. I'm asking him for happen again. I have no problem with Ryan Tannehill. I like Ryan Tannehill. I think he was a better option than turning him away than some of the other stuff. I don't want anything to Derek Carr. But if Lamar Jackson really wants out, and I understand that Ron Coughlin wants a full-blown rebuild, but why would we even want to take that opportunity to just draft somebody that we don't want? I don't know if he whiffed on Malik Willis or not. I think he's okay. I just think that, Todd Downing was a terrible OC to come into it. But go ahead, give away the first-round picks. I don't care, because if we get them for 5 years and we stick it up for a year
Win
or
now
two,
mode.
yeah, but no, I'm saying give him the contract because I think Lamar just wants his value because he's been grossly underpaid. You guys forget he was not a top 3, top 5, top 10 quarterback. So the money that he was getting in that rookie deal is absolute garbage. He was a 32nd pick. The guy has been well worth his money. And what I'm saying is pay him handsomely. Give him the guaranteed money if you want to. Amy Strong, hear me out, please, because let us suck next year. Because we have to kind of figure out the pieces, because it's just going to happen. We kind of like been empty and stuff, but we don't have to do a full rebuild when a 26-year-old former MVP is available. We can just take that and go, yes, Charles, he's been injured. I know he's been injured. I fully know. If I know he's been injured, I would jump on it still. Him over Aaron Rodgers, right? Because you're talking about longevity. You're giving up 2 first-round picks. Okay, not like we've done well on first-round draft picks anyway. Caleb Farley didn't work out. He's still on the team, but he might be getting replaced. And then there was the Isaiah Austin, whatever his name was, that we traded the Dolphins, and he didn't even play that season. He was out. So what? We're already used to not having first-round picks that matter. Last year's first-round pick, our wide receiver, whose name now escapes me because I got all animated, energetic, and everything like that. I like where he's going with, but let's get him a quarterback over. And nothing against Seattle. I have no problem with Seattle. $36 million, $30 million contract. He doesn't have any guaranteed money.
Plus,
it's his final year. But Lamar Jackson with Derrick Henry, we could really, really, really make some music here because all it is that because a non-exclusive franchise tender him, the Ravens can either match that contract or get 2 first-round picks. You're not selling the farm like you do with other players. You're not getting the Tyreek Hill, the Russell Wilson deals. Look at what happened with Russell Wilson, what the Broncos had to give up. And when I tell you, it's Traylon Burks. There we go. I knew it was a B, but I didn't go. When you talk about it, it's an absolute steal. You're just talking about guaranteed money because look at everything that the Broncos gave up for Russell Wilson, and it came of nothing. Much ado about nothing, right? Look at everything that the Browns had to give up. And all I got to do is give you 2 first-round picks. I don't have to give you an initial second or third a player. I just got to figure out this guy guaranteed money. What's the problem? Find a way to still get Jeffrey Simmons paid. You have Traylon Burks on a contract. You still got Derrick Henry for another year or so. I don't think the Ravens wouldn't go against not having Ryan Tannehill, right? Because they gotta. Because who's going to throw on that ball? I don't know. They have Huntley, but still. But Tannehill could be your option. You have 2 first-round picks to work with. Do it. Do it, Ron Coughlin. This is the vision. We're going to suck. This ain't going to change anything, but there was plenty of years where Steve McNair was ass, but we were still good. But, like,
you're in the South.
Please.
You can work it out.
Come on, please. I see it. It's the McNair-Eddie George combo. Except now I could get the Jackson and Henry combo until we have to get Henry's replacement. Let this cook and bubble up in about 3 years. Because you know what? 1, Lamar Jackson deserves money. 2, we really do have to start thinking about it in the future. 3, the Ravens are stupid. for a team that has been consistent about building people. I was looking at the sets. They let Orlando Brown go. They let Chuck Clark go. They let Hollywood Brown go. They let another guy go. You're talking about guys who are homegrown premier athletes who just really want to stay, but you just don't want to give them money. And the whole thing is that Lamar Jackson would have been one who set the money record. But for some reason, and whether or not you want to call collusion, so this is my little NFL topic, Commanders don't want him, Falcons don't want him, is all because of the fact that
teams are out.
You don't think you're going to get him because the Ravens are going to pick him up anyway. Okay, that's fine, but y'all can't call that bluff? Like, it's not going to hurt you. I don't think Desmond Ridder or Sam Howell is going to be upset, Commanders and Falcons, that you try to get somebody who's proven versus a guy who only started 5 games or 1 game, because the best scenario for them is, okay, the guy they were trying to go for still got claimed by the team that was on the offer sheet, so I'm still the starter. It is legitimately a win-win scenario. People are just stupid. Whereas somewhere in New York, Robert Saleh is just trying to convince himself that Aaron Rodgers is the end-all, be-all, and he's going to just get everybody he wants, like Alan Lazard and then Joe Douglas and then Woody Johnson. Like, oh, let's just get Alan Lazard because Aaron Rodgers likes him. And then we're going to sign OBJ, who's been injured all this time, just so we can get Aaron Rodgers. And this is going to have much ado about nothing because the Dolphins, the Bills are still going to be a better team. Give that hate to me. Petty trade coming off even though it was the offseason.
Alrighty. Well, that was good. We're at an hour, so we're gonna do a word from our non-sponsors and people and places and things and concept, what have you, that we've been enjoying over the last week. So, I guess I'll start. I'll start. Why not? I'll start. So I've already got what I want. So, guys, over the past weekend, I found an anime that I liked. So I'm going to talk about it. I've kind of been yearning for some sort of anime, especially one of those slice of life ones that I somehow enjoy. So I found one called "Don't Mess with Me, Miss." Right? I think that's what it's called, Miss Nagatoro, because I keep mixing it up. There you go. Yeah, "Don't Mess with Me, Miss Nagatoro." It's anime, or it was a manga, was converted, or "Don't Toy with Me." "Don't Toy with Me." Okay. There we go. "Don't Toy with Me, Miss Nagatoro." That's the English translation. It's on Crunchyroll, so you can watch it there if you feel like it. It's about this guy. He's like a second-year high school student, so a sophomore, and a freshman comes into his life, and she just... at first, it seems like she's bullying him, but she's not, because it's pretty obvious that she likes him, and that's the anime. But the guy is incredibly introverted, nervous. He's an artist, and he doesn't talk to anybody. But she makes him come out of his shell, and he's hanging out with her and her friends. And that's the anime. That's the whole tension and everything like that. But I don't know, as someone that relates to the guy, it's torture, actually. Just there's a lot of anxiety while watching this. I'm like, my God, this poor man, please stop it. But he's obviously oblivious to her feelings and all that type of stuff. I don't know. It gave me the fuzzies. That's what I needed over the last week anyways for myself, and it's just something y'all should just check out. So don't toy with me, Miss Nagatoro. Promo code Nekotoro, because she, in his mind, she always looks like a cat for whatever reason. So there you go. Cats play a lot of there's a lot of cat stuff in this.
I'm sure there's a lot of subliminal messaging with her being a cat too, because sometimes Japanese anime.
It's we know how it is, right? They're gonna give us Tears of the Kingdom in a couple months, so yeah.
It's the proper payoff.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go since I add up to there. I kind of want to do a twofer, but I'm not going to do a twofer.
Oh, okay.
Just know that meat maker that I ate from Castaways I sent you guys a picture of last week is just the love.
It's still processing through your body.
Oh my God, it was just so good. It was just so good. It was just delicious. But now, let me talk to you about a game that I just invested 30 hours of my life on within the week that, I downloaded. You've talked about it before, but I think you hooked me. So Mario Rabbids Battle Kingdom for the Switch. How it started was, I'm weird with like turn-based tactical games because I feel like the action's not there and it's too slow, and I have like that strong ADHD when it comes to video games, where I'm always looking at my phone and stuff like that. But Francisco's like, oh, I played this and I played Sparks of Hope, and I had looked at some of his streams and I had watched the Sparks of Hope stream, so I'm like, oh, okay, and then maybe, and then you guys saw the Endeavor. I needed stuff to buy on Black Friday. It was a $30 deal for Sparks of Hope, and then you get a free download from Best Buy Shop. The Best Buy was a non-sponsor here. I was like, oh man, I'm getting 2 games for the price of 1, and this game just literally came out a month ago, and all it cost me was like $2 because I had all these coupons and gift cards, and I was able to buy that, and then what was the other 2 games I bought? No, Resident Evil 3 was one of them, alongside another one. I'm like, yeah, sure, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have it. Side note, I bought Resident Evil 4 for the PS5. Got that for free. Thank you, Andrew. So I had just been Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which was my non-sponsor last week. And even though I know I'm very high in the gaming, I was on time off. What I like to do on my time off is to play games, go to the beach, sleep. Everything I can't do as an attorney, I like to do when I'm not having to be an attorney. And I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed it because it was free, so that's always for me. But I had to start with it. And I know that you said there's really no continuation or continuity from 1 and 2, but I always have to start with the 1. It was very fun, very refreshing. The first 3 worlds were kind of easy, and the difficulty spike kind of shot up a little bit. But you get to play as, obviously, Mario, who I think actually was the second weakest character to play as, Luigi, who just didn't touch my team at all at the end of the day. Boss-wise, you always had to go Mario, Peach, and Rabbid Peach because of the healing factors. And I will say this, it really doesn't have an easy mode. I know the second one does, but the easy mode is just you can add in more health and that's it, and you just deal. But it's fun. It makes you think. You have to be smart with it. The cell movement took some time to get used to because it reminded me back of the day of like Civ and all that, or D&D. But it was enjoyable. It was good strategy. It's very cute, very humorous. Mario gets sucked in with the Rabbids world. I don't know much about Rabbids except for the thing that's something by Ubisoft. But I think they did a good job developing something there. And of course, Mario with a gun is always interesting. No kids. It's not a GTA mod. It's a legitimate game. Maybe not for the oldest kids, but if you want to see if your kid's actually bright and smart, this is the game that you get them started on. Very cute, very fun, very interesting. A lot of tongue-in-cheek coming in there. Beep O, whatever its name is, a little robot that comes around. Has some quips that come into it, but it was a refreshing new take, because sometimes I can buy all the same games, but that's like me buying all the same Call of Duties, right? You need to have diversity is the spice of life, variety is the spice of life, and that's what I do with it here. And I'm really looking forward to getting Sparks of Hope. I have it, but playing it. But I did buy the DLC, the Donkey Kong Adventure, because it was on sale in the Wii Shop for $7.49, or the eShop. Sorry, rest in peace, Wii U. And
it closed today. Today was the last day. It was over.
It was the last day, so maybe it feels proper, fitting. But I did also get the Donkey Kong, which I started yesterday. I beat today because what did I do with my Switch? Was shout out to Nintendo, the pseudo non-sponsor. Sky just took that Southern Gun to the beach, and I played that for like 2-3 hours. I know what you guys are saying, Charles. How do you do that with the beach? There is nothing, guys. I got to tell you, there is nothing more like mentally stimulating than hearing the ocean whirring with your beautiful Chopper 75 Elite headphones on ear through, playing some Mario games where you're being some corrupt Rabbids, and also like a Rabbid Kong who just wants to kind of get with Mario Peach or Peach Rabbid or Rabbid Peach, but you don't want to get none of that just yet. And then just hearing the ocean waves crashing, very therapeutic. It made me remember that I am a human being and not an attorney, because when you become an attorney, the soul leaves you at some point, despite what all my attorney friends like to say. Very enjoyable game. Mario Rabbids Kingdoms, or Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Get the DLC too, might as well. They're super cheap, Andrew. I would recommend this to you if you want to get some intelligent gameplay that's not just Bungie, weird stuff going on. That is my sister emailing me. Overall, I would say I think I gave an 8 out of 10, and like I said, a 7 out of 10 for the Rabbid Kingdom, which I think is fair. Promo code... I can't make the sound effect that Rabbids make. Yeah, right, because I feel like I'm embarrassed myself. But promo code, I would say promo code Rabbid Kong.
Yeah, all right.
I felt for him. He just loved Rabbid Peach, and he didn't know how to explain it.
I know. Yeah. All right, that was good.
Thank you, Francisco. I'll say that. Thank you, Francisco.
Watch
Francisco. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, Andrew. Let me take it. Y'all listening now? Y'all want to see some interesting gaming stuff? Watch the Frank Ops. It will convince you to play new games or make you yell when you're at the gym on the treadmill because he doesn't know how to use Luigi Mansion's duel with Luigi. There you go. That's my other shout out.
All righty. Okay, Andrew.
So... My non-sponsor is going to be a YouTuber called TerminalMontage.
I think I've heard of him, but okay, go.
I've been watching him for a couple of months now, and he is freaking hilarious. He does these.
Oh yes.
He does this Something About series.
Yes, he's good.
Where he takes video games and just completely, while still telling the same storyline, just puts it through a shredder and comes up with something remarkably, I can't even describe it. It's funny. It makes me laugh, even if I haven't played the game. But for the games that I have played, it just makes it that much funnier. My personal favorite character of his is Kerbo.
That's the best one.
It's a caricature of Kirby, obviously, but for no discernible reason, Kerbo is a devout Christian.
Yes. You have to watch this, Charles.
I'm scared. I'm seeing the background right now.
For absolutely zero known reason, Kerbo is this insanely devout Christian.
He was in the Prince of Egypt.
He has at times defeated enemies using the power of Christ. But I will say, Kerbo is the best Christian I have seen in a long time.
Oh boy!
Because
Mother Teresa just in there.
Because he actually follows the tenets of Christianity. So
look for Andrew to be the one who started the flames in the podcast, not me or you.
Yeah, I'll stoke it a little bit, especially in light of recent events. But yeah, Kerbo, I absolutely love Kerbo. But the whole anything done by TerminalMontage is really funny. I'd highly recommend checking it out. Promo code Poyo, and that's Poyo.
And that's Kirby's noise.
Y'all are ridiculous.
Yeah, he's done. Let me show you, Charles. I'm just gonna. Actually, I didn't start the virtual cam, but the stuff that he's.
I'm on Twitch, so I can see it.
Yeah, but either way, he's done. Let's see. He doesn't buy. He's on season 5, so he's done this for 5 years. He's an animator. It's all animated, so it takes a long time, to churn these out. But he's done. Let's see. He's on Ocarina of Time. He hasn't finished Ocarina of Time. That's that's involved. Ocarina of Time. Yeah. Ocarina of Time. He's done. Of course, Sonic the Hedgehog. Kirby's Dream Buffet. Street Fighter 2. Let's see. Pikmin. I haven't seen some of these, so I have to catch up with them. Super Mario World. Super Metroid. Pac-Man. I think he's done Resident Evil as well. So I don't know if he's done Metal Gear. He's done Star Fox as well, Donkey Kong Country. Just a bunch of just the games that we know. So that's it. It's funny. It's great. The Kirby's are great because there's an overarching. Andrew, you didn't mention this. There's an overarching storyline as well that connects all of these together. So it's
right.
It's great. All right. Yes, it's awesome. All right. So those, got some good non-sponsors this week. So we're at an hour and 14 minutes. There's Andrew. I do want to mention something we didn't mention last week, but we probably should have. The NHL jersey providers are now going to be Fanatics.
Yay!
Oh boy! And look, I I just became an affiliate, so this is but I don't give a shit. I'll talk about it. It's not. I just have to shell this stuff. I don't have to shell it all the time, but yeah, some people are concerned. It's almost monopolistic in a way. The way Fanatics now has the they have control over the NFL shop, the NBA shop, MLB, and NHL. I don't know if they do MLS too, but maybe. And I think they might have the license for a bunch of college football teams too. I'm going to assume, right, Andrew? Yeah. So they recently decided to step up big because Adidas is not renewing their contract with the NHL. So this will be the last season for NHL jerseys and apparel and a bunch of stuff made by Adidas.
No. They start in the 24-25 season.
Okay, so next season will be the last season.
There's one more year after this.
Okay, next season will be the last season for the NHL with Adidas. And really is Adidas, and it was Reebok before that, but that was owned by Adidas anyway. So it's been a long time since an Adidas entity of some sort hasn't produced NHL's on ice stuff. And Fanatics has made up, sports merchandise and a bunch of stuff for all these leagues, a bunch of, T-shirts and things like that. But NHL fans are very particular, as we all know, and they're not very happy about this. A lot of NHL fans are not happy about this. I don't know if you guys have. I think I've shouted them out before, but the hockey guy did a fantastic video about the concerns with Fanatics taking up the NHL's mantle here, because they've kind of dropped the ball a lot with certain merchandise things. I don't know if you guys have seen the infamous New York Islanders T-shirt with the New York Rangers logo in the middle. But it's sacrilegious. It's sacrilegious to, that's like putting a Mets logo on top of a Yankees T-shirt. All right, Charles? It's just something you just don't do. It's something you don't make a mistake of. And also people complaining that the steam iron, the very templated merchandise. There's nothing really unique like you saw, especially in the 90s and stuff like that. And a lot of people getting actual jerseys, and the jerseys that they provide, like the base level, replica jerseys that they give, are very low quality compared to what Reebok and Adidas had beforehand. From what people have said, I don't have a single Fanatics NHL jersey, and I don't do the NHL shop. I'm not an affiliate of that. I'm just an affiliate of the baseball stuff, so I can talk shit about this actually. So, but people have gotten jerseys with the wrong player name on it, the wrong numbers, for things like that. And the material just isn't very high quality. It's just something that looks like it'll peel off the moment that you put it in the wash. And just people are concerned. And hopefully what they're doing, from what I've heard, they will be, there is a textile factory in Quebec that makes all of the on ice stuff for the players. So Fanatics will be making the player on ice stuff, all the stuff the players use, will be using the same factory with the same materials and everything like that. So the players are going to get the good stuff, but the fans, we don't know. We don't know if they're gonna, if they're buying the licensing rights or anything like that from Adidas, from their jersey technology, just to keep the same cuts and templates, or if they're going to make their own unique style. We're not sure, but it's I think it's like a 10-year deal. So Fanatics is going to try and step up into that area, just like Adidas with, Adidas just wants to focus on their soccer stuff. That's what they're focusing on. And of course, competing with them and Nike, who does baseball, basketball, and the NFL. And gosh, man, I don't know. I haven't ordered anything from Fanatics or Fanatics branded NHL stuff. And anything that I've bought, usually I've gotten it when I go to Panthers games anyways, especially hats and things like that. They do make hats. I haven't bought a Fanatics hat. I can't tell you the quality of them at all right now for NHL. So but people are very concerned. And yeah.
Let me just say that all that matters to the NHL is, are the player jerseys okay? And the early indications are probably yes, because again, one, they're using the existing factory in Quebec, but then also they've been making the baseball jerseys for MLB. They're Nike licensed, but they're produced by Fanatics.
Yeah.
So Bettman and the owners, they won't give a shit if the fan quality is poor. All that matters is it's not going to fall apart on the players, and Fanatics is going to ensure that's not going to happen.
Yeah, because the moment that something happens, it'll just reignites those feelings in fans, and just, maybe we shouldn't buy these. That'll be an embarrassment beyond all level for Fanatics if that happened. Like a player's jersey just kind of ripped, just shreds for no apparent reason.
Yeah, the Fanatics will never let that happen for sure. But what it will do is now that there's zero competition, they're just going to make the shittiest fan jerseys possible.
You know what, Fanatics, if you want to assure everybody, invite us up to your headquarters up in Jacksonville. We're not that far. We can assure the people. You can give us some swag. And we can rate the quality of the stuff, right? We're just going to put that out there.
I mean, and there's another great video by a guy I really like on the internet. His name is, or not
Aesthetics?
his name, but Aesthetics.
Yeah.
And he made a great video, and he made a good point that, hockey fans want to like this deal. And we all just kind of laughed and guffawed when Bettman said, they have this great track record. It's like, right. Maybe they have a good track record for making leagues money, but not for making fan products. But one of the deputies in the NHL said, probably in the most PC way to make the league look good, said, I understand that there's some trepidation among the fan base. Like, no shit, Sherlock. There's a lot of trepidation in the fan base. But I want to be wrong. I want Fanatics to say, hey, now that we have the exclusive rights, maybe we'll step things up a little bit. But I'm not holding my breath at all, because I would probably die of asphyxiation or whatever before I would be willing to hold my breath on any sort of quality product coming out of Fanatics. It's just unfortunate because at least you had, like, I'm on a Discord channel and I follow a Reddit which is dedicated just to hockey jerseys.
Mm.
And kind of the holy grail of jerseys are things they call MICs, or made in China, or not made in China, made in Canada, which are the cream of the crop jerseys. Those are the best. Those are, if you really want to have a true to life jersey, you get an MIC.
True. Hold on one second. Let me keep going, Andrew. I want to see where my jersey was at, actually. Ha, I got it. Okay. So I was just checking my, I guess the best Panthers jersey that I got there, the reverse retro. It's an MII made in Indonesia. So yeah,
Right.
but it's Adidas branded, and it hasn't fall apart on me.
But yeah, if you can get an MIC, they're more expensive for sure, but they're much better quality. The problem is the MICs are now going to be made by Fanatics.
Mm.
The Adidas, whatever they're called, the Addy Zeros or whatever they sold to the fans, those were much better than the breakaways, which are made by Fanatics. So at least you had the option of getting something better than what Fanatics had to offer, but now Fanatics is offering everything. So, I don't know. Like I said, I hope...
Shop your local Goodwills, everybody. You can find plenty of jerseys and things on there. Go on shopgoodwill.com.
You didn't blast that after just getting
What happened?
after just getting your Series S. I'm surprised you didn't.
Oh,
blast
Xbox
that.
One, regular Xbox One. I bought 2 games already. I already bought 4, but I got them on eBay. Forza Horizon 3, and I got combo rare replay with Gears of War Ultimate Edition. So just to play that, maybe I can get into that series. But yeah, aside from that, but that's a bunch of games, especially rare replay. So that'll keep me busy for a while. And I still got all my Xbox 360 stuff. So yeah, sorry, Andrew.
I know for sure that when I get enough of a back pile of disposable income, I want to buy legit Lightning jerseys from the 2020 and 2021 seasons, because they changed the models between those 2 years, and put a Stanley Cup champion patch on it, because that's who I am. But at least, I'm hoping, who knows, maybe now that Fanatics is going to be not the main person anymore. Maybe maybe now that Reebok won't be God damn it. Maybe now that Adidas isn't going to be the main provider, maybe those will be on sale or cheaper now.
Or maybe they might go up in price if fans are just going to be like, oh no, these are the good ones. We're holding,
Good point. But
unclaimedbaggage.com. That's where I got my jersey from, right? That jersey's for it's made in Indonesia, but they were probably selling it for $200 and I got it for $80. So, unclaimedbaggage.com, where Andrew probably should get a bunch of Switch games too.
Yeah, buy more Switch games.
He's getting there. He'll get there. Gotta play some MLB though. I'm getting that Thursday. That's when my Xbox comes in. So I'm going to Best Buy after work, I think, when that happens. So after I test it to make sure it works.
I hope it works.
It should. From the eBay listing, it came from like an actual store. So. All right. Well, yeah, everything Andrew has said is kind of the concerns. I mean, I've got six NHL. I've got 6 Panthers jerseys. I'm cool with what I've got. I've got the current red one. I've got the original red one. I got the 2012 white and the 2011 navy one, and I got the first navy reverse retro. I mean, the only one I really want that's left is the this year's reverse retros with the stick and tree. So that's really the only thing that I personally feel like I'm missing for myself, and maybe the current white jersey. But aside from that, I really am not looking for much else for NHL jerseys at this point. And yeah, so okay, that's it. All right, yeah, that's the point that I did want to talk about. All right, so this is Sports Show, everybody, and let's go to, I guess Charles said it, Frankly Frank, right? Let's talk about that.
Frankly Frank.
Yeah. Okay, so we're at an hour and 30 minutes. We're going to talk about this. I think this will roll us into, because Charles got his big, beefy a WrestleMania preview today. So I do want to get through this so we can get to that. And spring training's over. Opening days on Thursday. So there you go. Baseball's happening.
You have to also mention the thing in hockey.
What thing in hockey? The Panthers are out? What else?
Vinny Goofs reunion in hockey.
Oh, that's right. Me and Charles went to the Panthers and New York Rangers game, even though it was basically, man.
It was Francisco's torture.
Yeah, it was invaded by Charles's people. That's what it was. You know, we took
the pilgrimage.
Yeah, it was Italian. It was Italian Heritage Night. And as one knows, it's against the New York Rangers, and I mean, Charles was just surrounded by his people. Everybody from all 5 boroughs was there.
I already saw all the drunk people with their bad BO.
Mm-hmm.
I parked in the Sawgrass Mall.
Yeah.
As I'm going on, dealing, smelling,
passing by Vinny and Dominic and Vito.
Tess, how can we forget about Tess? She's doing good, and I'm just like, oh, okay. All I need is some Hispanics and Russians, and I am back in the old country.
I'm sure there's a few Puerto Rican Rangers fans there.
Yeah, as well. So for those who don't know, my stomping grounds to begin with for about the first 8 years of my life was Jackson Heights, Queens, and then I moved to Florida, and I kept visiting New York every couple of years, every summer. To visit the family and stay with the family. So it's a part of you that doesn't leave. And I was back there in October, and I just said, God, it's so dirty. It still smells like pee. But it was interesting that it was my first hockey event since we last went to see the Lightning and the Panthers. It was an enjoyable experience for the first game or the first period. And then it all kind of went downhill because the Panthers I got to see this Chachek guy that I almost called him Chachi. This Chachi guy that Francisco Chachek.
Kachek.
Isn't it?
Good old Matty Kachuk. No. He's talking about Matty Kachuk.
Oh, Kachuk.
Yeah, and then you also see the Stahl. They can go screw themselves, with a nice little. Those are the ones we hate, right? The ones who didn't want to win.
The Stahls were part of the guys that don't like the covenant between man and God for flooding the earth. They don't like those colors,
Yeah. With a plunger, grow the hell up, you assholes. I'm sorry right now. I don't care about it. You guys, they can find me. I don't care. Anywho, first period was good, and then something happened.
2-0.
2 periods where the Panthers just got completely shot.
Microcosm of the Panther season. Microcosm of the Panther season.
But the problem is, that loss itself was basically your season, from what you've been telling me.
The season's
over.
Nails almost in common. Next week. Yeah,
I would say the game was it finished 4-3 or 4-2. I don't
4-3.
It was enjoyable. Yeah, 4-3. It was enjoyable until it wasn't enjoyable because it felt lazy. I expected more out of you, Florida Panthers. Mind you, I couldn't remember who won in our last game. It was probably the Lightning because I just see Andrew's happiness. coming to my brain and Francisco's pain. But the thing is, what we did a couple years back, we were doing was the spins on the ice. That's how famous we were.
Yeah, that's true.
But the shots kind of went down. I told Francisco the first thing I had to do was just make sure I caught up on everything. I knew everything. I probably would have known more had somebody allowed me to buy NHL 2023, but not this time, kids. But it was a good segue. I knew because I follow my friends' teams. I know who's on the Lightning and I know who's on the Panthers, so it was supportive. I just felt bad because I wasn't really rooting for. I was a Panther fan for the day. I guess in theory you can say I align with the Boston Bruins, but that feels wrong right now, because of the fact that they're like number one in the NHL, and I want to make it seem like I'm a bandwagoner since I had to have Francisco explain to me icing because the idea never made sense to me to begin with. So he showed me the letter and intent, the spirit, the character, and purpose, Andrew, of it. I still think it's silly because, hey, it's y'all's fault for letting the puck and sticks, man, right? Just got to do that better cardio and follow out. I had a good time. Everybody out there in South Florida, I mean, you're talking about from the areas of Palm Beach down to Miami. Our tickets weren't like relatively that expensive, $75 or so.
Yeah, for big ticket team, New York. Yeah,
it was an enjoyable experience, and I think I had a good time with it. Hopefully, it doesn't take me another 3 years or so to kind of go back there. However, by the time March 28th, 2024, I should be an avid, knowledgeable, and I say it every year, hockey fan. Why? Because unlike of me just watching games, which I don't have the time or the patience for. What am I going to do, guys? I'm probably going to get a hockey game if someone permits me to do it. And I will be so knowledgeable, guys. I would be insufferable. It's going to be great.
It's like Andrew's your dad. You just won't buy it for me.
And the group chat. And I know what Andrew's saying. Buy the damn thing. But now it's the principle, because maybe we're so much closer to October now, Andrew. I want to get the newer. I got to get the updated rosters. You know how it is.
I'm probably going to get 24 just to get 24. And if they put Matty Tkachuk on it, which you should get on the cover. I'm just going to say it, I'm definitely going to get it. Yeah.
It's going to go to Connor, I feel.
Wait, he appeared on, which one did he appear on, Andrew? He's already appeared on one, right? Connor McDavid?
Who?
McDavid. Has he appeared on an NHLT cover? Like 19?
He may have been on 22.
22, yeah, because this past year was Zagreus and Nurse, right? And then before that might have been Connor, or maybe Leon.
No. So let's see. So 22 was Matthews.
Yep, that makes sense. Yep.
20 was also Matthews.
He got on two of them? Huh.
21 was Ovechkin. 19 was Subban.
Okay.
I feel like my point is proven.
18 was Connor McDavid.
Okay, so he's been 18. So he's been on. It's not like they can't repeat, but Okay, alrighty. It was a microcosm of the Panthers season, everything that they were and are, and they don't deserve to make the playoffs. And I'm on the Fire Maurice bandwagon now. So, it's a lot of changes. It can't just be for the lack of cap space, because they still got pretty much the same team. They just lost a couple of guys, and they got an upgrade from Matthew Tkachuk. But the trade hasn't worked out for either the Flames or the Panthers, really, because they're both on the outside looking in, one spot out of the playoffs right now, trying to fight for dear life, and they're just losing. There's only like 7 games left for each of the teams, and so and the Panthers are in the middle of a 4-game losing streak right now, and they're facing the Leafs. They're probably going to get spanked like they got spanked last week against the Leafs. And then outside of a miracle, I don't know, because the Pens, they're playing the Red Wings now. I had the game on the show right now in the background, and it's tied 3-3. Maybe the Wings can pull it off and help the Panthers there, but now it's just a bunch of like wait and see. Maybe the Panthers can, if the Penguins fall, it's really the Panthers' only shot, but they would have to run the table in order to make it happen. They got Columbus and Montreal, but there's no games I think the Panthers... There are games the Panthers should win, but I'm not confident that they can win. So that's kind of been my thing with them. So I don't even know. They could probably get upset by Montreal or Columbus at this point. They got their young guys in. They, on their entry level contracts, just trying to prove something. And I bet they can get surprised by them. The season's done. I wrote it on the group chat. Panthers are done. It's over. So too bad. So
Lightning doing it too?
Lightning are doing fine.
I feel like this is a segue away from your pain.
Oh well, but they're Lightning are doing fine. They're gonna face the Leafs in the first round, and I'm not gonna cheer for you guys to make it past the first round, but you guys better beat the Leafs. But if the Leafs do make it past, they'll just get spanked by Boston. So hey, we win in the end.
Yeah, I'm wanting that win. I'm wanting that win bad. That series went bad.
Yeah, you guys are gonna get invaded in Tampa. Okay, so yeah, those are our perspectives on hockey. All right, Frankly Frank. So I didn't get a chance to watch the movies. I was watching anime and just kind of gaming and being moody. But I was able to listen to the music, guys. So once again, these guys are trying to get me culture, trying to get me to be more well-rounded on things and just stuff. Yeah, because I'm just not good with music for sure. So Charles had recommended to me the Black Keys and their album called Brothers. Okay, so these are the 3 songs, Charles, that I myself liked. So the first one was Next Girl.
Good song.
Second one was Tighten Up.
Very good song. That's what got them popular.
Yeah, so there's that one, and then the other one was Keep My Name. Was it Out of My Mouth? Out of Your Mouth. There you go. So those are the 3 songs I chose from that one. Is this from what era is this from? Like the 70s, 80s? Not sure.
It's like 2000.
Black Keys.
2000? I don't know. It just sounds kind of
2010.
I don't know. It has this kind of. I don't know what. I don't know, man. I don't know nothing. That's why I'm asking. Y'all got.
Brown Auerbach and Patrick Carnahan have been doing it for a long time. But
I don't know. Just kind of has an old school feel to it. I kind of liked it, so that's kind of why I was saying that.
Yeah, it's rock blues, but I would say
like Bruce. Yeah.
2012 is when they came out. Going from there. So yeah, 10 years ago, sure, which might feel like the 70s, 80s for us guys.
See how ignorant I am. See. All right.
Shocked.
All right. And Andrew, you had suggested to me Ben Folds 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was the name of the album? Let me see.
Whatever and Ever Amen.
That one. Yes. Whatever and Ever Amen. So these are the 3 songs that I chose.
Tell us.
Fair.
Good one.
Selfless, Cold, and Composed.
Very good.
And then Steven's Last Night in Town. Which I think was...
I like that one.
Yeah, that one I think was my favorite. It sounds very upbeat. I don't know. For some reason, it reminded me of Kirby and Chibi Robo. I know you don't know the Chibi Robo reference much, but I don't know. There's something about the music that kind of made me think about those video games. So I enjoyed those though.
I guess it makes sense that all of the songs that you chose were upbeat. Like I said, there were a few downer songs.
Oh, I noticed them. I noticed them. But yeah, those are my choices. But I haven't gotten to the movies yet. But I enjoyed this. What happened?
Like what we gave you?
Oh no, I did. I was rocking. I listened to them while I'm working, so I can kind of like, kind of get into a little bit of a groove and just be like, okay, just try and get myself a rhythm and stuff like that. I'm moving, I'm jiving. I got the standing desk, so I'm dancing, man. I'm dancing in the middle of work. So there you go. Yeah, so I liked it. So we're at an hour and 44 minutes. These guys will suggest me something new, and I'll listen to those things. But we're gonna head on over to the cage because this is a big weekend, and Charles is gonna miss the first night of WrestleMania and the Final Four.
Oh my God! All right, so let's do it. Welcome everybody, your weekly Truplex of Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer: wrestling is not fake. It's a scripted fight. It's a stage fight. It's a song and dance. Essentially, it's about men and women chasing championships, establishing their legacy, being the holy hell out of each other, and trying to. And I'm going to say it because it's going to make me vomit, but I got to accept it. Finish the story, as Cody Rhodes' entire goddamn WrestleMania, storyline has been. This is going to be majority WWE. It is not going to be as long as you guys think it's going to be, but kind of. Maybe about 15, 20 minutes. I can congest it without.
Hence the leeway I gave. We're at the 145 mark. Yeah, so there we go.
The one thing I'm going to mention on AEW is there'll be some ish brewing between CM Punk, who was suspended for Brawl Out, and everybody. He posted some Instagram stuff. Moxley did an interview with his wife, Renee Paquette, on her podcast, The Sessions. Everybody has two different opinions of whether or not who did what, but basically with Punk, I'll explain it to you this way in the simplest form I can. Punk saying they wanted this nonsense, I didn't want this. I don't know why everybody's giving me crap. And Moxley's just saying, nah, that shit didn't happen like that. There you go. Very interesting, because the idea is, do you want Punk back? Is he good for your business? Is he missed? Would the guys in the locker room, the big names, Hangman, Moxley, Kenny, the Young Bucks, Jericho, want him back to allow it as locker room leaders and VPs? I don't know. I don't have the answer for it. AEW has been building some momentum, as we talked about last week, but we know what we're here for. WrestleMania, showcase the Immortals, grandest stage of all for all wrestling. Culmination where you hope a lot of storylines just end and new storylines happen. The match cards are almost set in stone. Raw was yesterday. It was decent. Andrew and I were in the chat talking about it. SmackDown, you're going to have some, the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. So just to kind of put some guys out there, they're not going to be a Mania, though I wish Bobby Lashley does have a WrestleMania match because, Bray Wyatt got hurt. So they canceled, which might have actually been better for everybody that Bray got hurt, because I was not invested in Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt whatsoever, 0%. But I would like Bobby just to show up and just issue an open challenge if someone comes out so Bobby can squash her in 5 minutes. You got to reward the guys who've been doing it. It's a 2-night event. It's a 2-night event. I will not be there. I am doing a work thing. April 1st. So I have to do my best to avoid social media in every way, shape, or form. The group chat, unfortunately, I have to avoid that for the most part.
I will try to avoid Twitter. I'll stick to baseball. I might go to the Marlins game on Friday. So I will, and I'll be at my sister's place because I'm watching the FAU game over there. So
I won't say anything, Charles.
Thank you. I have to also avoid probably a very drunk. I don't want to name names, but a drunk friend who I know will be watching it.
Oh boy!
Because it's not just that; it's not just WrestleMania, guys. It's also the NXT Stand and Deliver pay-per-view that is happening. So I have to kind of I'm just gonna go really quickly on that because they're doing the Takeover Stand and Deliver match that's happening. It's just a lot that we're going to be doing in that sense. So God help my soul, because that's at 1 p.m. So I'm going to watch that bit of wrestling because I got to get my fix. But I might not even be able to complete, because where I have to go is an hour and 10 minutes north of me. And I look into the sky and I say, God, why did you do this to me? Out of all times, right? And I look up to the ground and I go, Satan, I get it. I understand. You're keeping my seat warm. But damn it, man. I have to miss night one. And night one, they haven't announced all the matches yet for each night. But damn it, man. I can't have this ruined. There's 9 months of storyline going on, because I will tell you at least this. Night 1 is going to be the Usos versus Sammy and Kevin Owens. Big stuff. And then night 2 is going to be Roman and Cody. Big stuff. So that means Sunday, I have to find a way, somehow, some way, some form, to digest 8 hours of wrestling, man, because I don't think I'll be able to finish Stand Deliver because I have to get dressed and go and change. I got to fix my hair and ish. This is terrible. So let's talk about the Stand Deliver stuff. We don't talk about NXT a lot, but this is going to be some of the stuff that they're going to kind of like build into it. The big highlights of the match, Johnny Gargano and probably presumably his last takeover, even though he's been on the main rosters going against Grayson Waller. Remember when Johnny went to go bye-bye and be a dad for a bit, Grayson Waller put him out. That got him some good heel heat, which is enjoyable. Johnny's going to have that match because Waller's been fighting with Shawn Michaels. Shawn's like, I'm not wrestling, but I know somebody who wants to get a piece of the old candy ass. Expect Johnny Gargano to win it, get his swan song, and then fully get some stuff going on. That's my prediction for him because this is how I have to do it. I can't spend forever on this stuff for NXT, right? I used to back in the day. Chase U and Tyler Bate versus Schism. What you need to know, Schism is led by Joe Gacy and also has Ava Rain, who is The Rock's daughter, along with they used to be Grizzly Young Vets versus Chase U, which I've sent a couple of stuff with them, and Tyler Bate's a good guy. We like his wrestling. I think Schism wins that. The match is going to be for the control of Chase U, and I think that's how you can get some sabotage. You can't have Schism lose. You can't have The Rock's daughter in her first match coming out losing. It's just not going to happen. What can I say? NXT Tag Championship, triple threat match, Gallus versus the Creed brothers versus the family, Tony D'Angelo, and I forgot who the hell he has as a teammate because I've been watching it for a minute. Gallus keeps it, goes from there. NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, Fallon Henley versus Kiana James, Isla Dawn, and Alba Fire. Demonic women are going to win. That's what Alba and Isla are, or Isla are. Good for them. This match, next match, is going to be a banger, fellas. Holy shit. Like, I'm so excited. It's for the North American NXT Championship in a ladder match. Wesley, current champion, versus JD McDonough versus Ilya Dragunov. We love Ilya Dragunov up in this house. Axiom, and then Dragon Lee, who's debuting. He was signed a couple months ago. Lucha Libre specialist. Oh, man, it's just going to be so good, but it's going to be Dragon Lee who wins. He's going to bring in that Lucha Libre style. I like Wesley, but you just had this big mega signing. You can't have him lose in his debut match, even if it's a ladder match where you're not getting pinned or submitted. But everybody's going to be beating the hell out of each other, doing ladder spots. Daddy likes, especially since I'm not getting a ladder match in the WrestleMania matches on the main roster. Women's NXT ladder match, a little bit of the repetition, but yeah, Valkyrie, Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, and then Roxanne Perez has come back from injury. They've been working that sort of. Roxanne comes back, wins, retains her title, probably builds a feud with Tiffany Stratton. Okay, fine. Grayson Waller, Johnny Gargano, we already talked about that. Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker. I like Carmelo Hayes. I am about Carmelo Hayes. I'm about Trick Williams. I have sent clips about them before. The man has this confidence and swagger. Even though he's a tiny man, he casts a very big shadow. He has his whole theory of saying that he is him. That's his mentality. That's his whole like saga. I carry that energy sometimes going to court or if I'm in Splatoon, whereas I say my him is history in the making. I respect him. I'm kind of done with Braun Breaker for a while. I think he's been main roster ready for a bit. He has been given bad challengers, in my opinion, the last several months since he won it back against Dolph Ziggler about a year ago. Carmelo Hayes wins this. Braun Breaker probably has a couple matches left, and then he goes up to the main roster to build some feuds. Good for him. Braun Breaker is the son of Rick Steiner, also nephew of Scott Steiner, Big Papa Pump, the Math, the Big Bad Booty Daddy. We love Scott Steiner up in this house. He has that perfect little thing of the YouTube of his Steiner mathematician at 33% chance. Love it. Anyway, main roster stuff, WrestleMania. Let's just get to it because there's some stuff I'm vested in. So Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. We mentioned in the chat. Dad versus son. Rey's going to the Hall of Fame on Friday. This might be his last call. He hasn't said or not, but imagine how do you get somebody to want to watch the Hall of Fame, which doesn't matter anyway, right? Okay, I hate to say that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter to me because I can appreciate a lot of good wrestlers who don't get to the Hall of Fame, and this is not like baseball, football, basketball where you have to really have legitimate debate.
We've talked about this before because I asked you about like what exactly is the criteria. Is basically who Vince liked.
Yeah, and now
Pete Rose is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. I mean,
Pete Rose in Wrestling Hall of Fame. Last year was perfect because it was Taker, right? So you're like, yeah, and the Steiner Bros. That was probably the most loaded class out there. This year's Rey Mysterio, Stacy Keibler, the Great Muta, because he retired. He had some impact all around WCW, New Japan, Noah, everything of that nature. They're putting Andy Kaufman. If you ever seen Man on the Moon, he was known for his feud with Jerry Lawler. And I feel like I'm missing one other person, but they're going to have Rey Mysterio headline. I think he's going to announce that Friday that that's going to be his last match because that way it kind of takes out the suspense. Rey's been doing this for a long time. It's like 46, 47. And Andrew was like, do you think Rey's the heel or is Rey a heel? I'm like, sir, it'll be a cold day in hell because Rey Mysterio is just too likable to ever be a heel. But they have done well. They split back in September. Remember, they were tag team champions, guys. And then they lost to the Usos. And then Dominic kind of turned on Edge and Ray because they were fighting against Judgment Day at that time. Damon Priest, Finn Balor, Ray Ripley. And then we've had Prison Dom, which we love. It's hysterical. He's gotten more comfortable in the mic. His wrestling skills are probably trash, but sometimes it's a character-based game. And Ray spent like 7 months saying, I'm not going to hit my son. And us Hispanics are like, what? Dad's not going to beat his disrespectful child not even once. We don't believe this. Chanclas unite. We're trying to get this going. And then Ray held out. And then last week, because they had Angie and then Aaliyah, Ray's wife and daughter, out there, and Dominic was talking trash. And Ray's like, that's my wife. And he popped him. And I swear to God, even my own chancla levitated to the air for a second. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I'm like, I felt it in my head. We got to have this happen, man. Like, it's just got to work with it. Francisco's felt it too when I said the podcast. It's a whole disbelief. And here's the thing. Ray's probably winning. I want Dominic to win. The heat that he's going to get for beating his father, possibly retiring his father, is going to be mega. It is going to go beyond Roman Reigns being Taker and making you think when he either goes say my yard now. It is going to be bigger than John Cena working up into ECW's one night stand pay-per-view, holding the title against RVD. Because if Dominic Mysterio, who we all legitimately hate, like his character work is impeccable. I don't hate him as a person. He's a good person. But he's built to this moment to beat his father on the showcase, the greatest showcase for wrestling and WWE purposes, not AEW and New Japan, all that stuff, and retires him. Man, I know his wrestling skills might not be there yet, but he's like 24, and you're just taking the heat, and you're going to take that ball and run with it, and it's just going to be chef's gifts. Ray's probably winning. I would prefer Dominic to win for story purposes. Tag Team Championship Showcase. I guess whoever wins this gets a number one contenders match. I think it's just to put some people on the card. Street Profits, they win. Okay, fine. I'm skipping that because that's no story they built it. That's why, Andrew. Same thing with Women's Tag Team Showcase. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia versus Shotzi, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler win. They'll go challenge Lita and Becky Lynch, win the belts off of them. That's in the story. Whew. If this match is on night one, I'm gonna cry. I want all the matches I want to be on. I'm gonna save it for last. Third to last. Let's go through some of the other ones. Edge versus Finn Balor, Hell in a Cell. This story has culminated. They had that fantastic I Quit match at Extreme Rules, where they had put Edge's wife in the chair to do the concerto, and then Edge said, "I quit." Now you're getting the Demon. Now you're getting Edge. The Demon is Finn Balor's persona in Hell in a Cell, so it's the full steel case structure with the rooftop and everything kind of goes, and you beat the hell out of each other. Edge is probably winning this. I want Finn to win because Edge is near the end of his time. He says he's retiring. It's probably going to happen at SummerSlam. He's going to be in Toronto. He's a Canadian. I really hope Owens retires him. That's just me, but it'll probably be Cody if I had to bet. But it should be a very good match. I think this is what you actually need to legitimize Finn as a main roster guy, as a main event guy. And they put on good shows before, so I'm ready for them to go from there. Becky Lynch, Lita, Trish Stratus versus Damage Control that consists of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Her old name is Io Shirai, but whatever. No one could say that. I can. This has been building up for a little bit, for a couple months. The rumors have been that Trish Stratus is going to turn on them. It's a mixture of the old blood and new blood. Trish Stratus and Lita were the good ones. 20. They were all good 20 years ago, but they were the classics. They're coming back. They helped Lita, or Trish helped Lita win the tag titles off of Damage Control for Lita and Becky Lynch. I'm invested into it. I like it. I think Bayley's been. I think this faction has been kind of iffy since they came back in SummerSlam, being Damage Control. But I expect them to want to go from there. Should be a good match. United States match. This is going to be the match that opens night one. It's going to be John Cena versus Austin Theory. The whole story has been Austin Theory was a big John Cena fan. Cena's first title was a United States title at WrestleMania. It almost feels like a full circle kind of thing. Cena apparently behind the scenes thinks Theory has it to be the guy. Austin's only 25 years old. I'm kind of impressed what he's been doing. I don't know who wins this, man, because Cena realistically can't win, right? Like he's a big movie star. He's doing some stuff coming into it. His schedule can't be there. I mean, what he wins it on a Saturday, defends it on Raw that Monday, loses, and then just kind of frees him obligation. But I feel like whoever wins a title off of John Cena either has to be a returning superstar or has to be Theory just getting his revenge back, but that kind of cheapens it. But how does Theory win? He's not going to pin Cena clean, right? Unless the idea is that the next year or two of Cena's storylines are going to be the old Yeller concept, right? Where it's just time to put the guy down. And, you build that sort. That can be interesting. It's tough because Theory because the thing is, if Theory wins and it's clean, you somehow have to take that title off of him to put him in the main event scene, right? Because you're beating John Cena. That's like beating Michael Jordan in that sense for wrestling. I don't want to say it like that because of the team-based stuff, so I need something better to kind of work with analogy-wise, but that's the magnitude of it. Actually, let me rephrase. Let's take out player. Let's put it. That's
tennis or golf. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's beating your Venus and Serena Williams, right? That is an equivalent. Sure, yeah, that's a way to think about it, where you're always going to be eyes on you, focus. But that's important. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. That's going to be on Saturday. That should be good. Seth needs to win it. Logan Paul has been good in the 4 matches he's shown up, or 3 matches he's shown up. Split the damn titles. Give Seth a belt. It has been time for a long time. The man, he helped carry Cody Rhodes be a believable champion contender. Saying that right now, damn it. Had a lot of great feuds coming into it. It's time. Let this be the road for Seth getting a main title, going from there. Brock Lesnar versus Amos. Brock wins. I'm putting out there on that one. All right, so let's go. Oh, Bianca Belair versus Asuka. The build's been bad. I think Bianca probably wins it, but Asuka came back with the Kana concept, Kana Kana, which is what she was at Stardom. She might win it. I really don't know. I wish they could have built a better story with it. It can go 50-50. My gut still says Bianca Belair, and then maybe Asuka gets it afterwards, but Triple H loves Asuka. He brought her in, so there's a possibility. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's Championship. I'm sorry, I should have said Bianca and Asuka was for the Raw Women's Championship, but Charlotte versus Rhea. Remember, they met about 3 years ago for the NXT title at WrestleMania, and then Charlotte won. Rhea wins. She gets a redemption. She goes from there. Okay, that's fine. Let's go to the big 3, the matches I'm eyeing hardcore. International Triple Patty. It's gonna be so high in cholesterol that's gonna burst out my heart. Last year, Sheamus and Gunther gate for the Intercontinental Championship at Clash of Champions in September. I'm slurring now because I'm so excited. The energy's coming into it. That was my WWE match of the year. So we're getting that with Drew McIntyre being put into it for the Intercontinental title in a triple threat match. And then Sheamus and Drew have had fantastic matches. Sheamus and Gunther have had fantastic matches. I have not seen Drew and Gunther go against each other. So I'm excited. The potential, boys. The potential. Give me 25 minutes. I don't need a minute more. I'm saying 25 minutes without entrances. Give me no tomfoolery. No Imperium, no Brawling Brutes to help out. Just give me these 3, the Scottish, the Irish, and then the Austrian. Beat the holy hell out of each other and do some real wrestling. I don't even have to tell you what the story is, but I'm going to. I'm sorry. Drew wants the IC title. Gunther is about establishing the prestige of the Intercontinental Championship. He's the longest reigning IC champion in the modern era. He's coming for that honky tonk man record. I hope he breaks it. It should happen around the fall time if he carries it on. And then Sheamus has never won the IC title in his 15, 16-year career in WWE. There's a lot of emotion coming into it. Sheamus and Drew are boys. Gunther just likes beating ass. I got cholesterol just think about the possibilities. My heart's blocking. International Triple Patty. Who wins this? Let's do it to Gunther. Let's have him break honky tonk. Let's get a legitimate wrestler breaking that record for the championship, and then we'll get Cody Rhodes versus Gunther come next Mania. I see the vision. I need it to happen. You boys know when I watch that match, I'll be ready. If some way, shape, or form it's on night 2, be prepared for the live reactions. If it's on night 1, I have to watch it all day. You guys are just going to bombard me with my opinion on it because I cannot contain that to the following Tuesday. You know I can't contain it to the following Tuesday. Speaking of another match that's been 9 years in the making. Usos, Jimmy and Jay. So, SmackDown and Raw, undisputed tag team champions versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I know Sami Zayn has really been the broken record of me doing the cage, but he's just been doing it. He was not infiltrating the bloodline. He wouldn't be part of the bloodline, and the bloodline broke his heart. So, hell have no fury like a Sami scorned. Ooh, Dumb down. Don't let WWE take it because you know what's going to happen. They're going to steal it from it. Teaming with his boy, Kevin Owens, his bestest friend. It's like a real-life best friend, too, guys. Legitimate. It's something that they've known each other since they were in Canada. Since they were kids, they went through all the stuff in PWG and then Ring of Honor and when they were tag team champions there. And then they got brought over to all this fun stuff. Now they're in WWE. Now they're finally tag team for a championship because they never had before. They won against a couple of WrestleManias ago. Daniel Bryan's returning match with Shane McMahon as tag teams against them. And, that was Bryan coming back for all not the concussions, but basically the forced retirement. I'm getting so excited. I can't bring you guys 7 years lore. I'm sorry. I got to do this. I am ready for this. It is about Sami Zayn choosing the family he always had versus the family that he thought loved him. There's so much stories. It's about Jey Uso, who had to betray Sammy, who he loved. It's about Kevin Owens, who just hates the bloodline, who is always in their damn way. He's beaten Roman clean so many times had they not interfered. And they're going to win those championships. And I might freaking cry. Won't happen. But I'm excited, and I'm ready for it. And I swear to Christ, if they lose, just bring me back Vince McMahon, because at least he gave me Kofi Mania, damn it. But it's good. This is a storyline that's, for one guy, it's like 9 months in the making. For another guy, it's like 3 years in the making. It's long-term booking. Because Owens was challenging Roman in the Bloodline since, 2020 at this point. We are ready. We are here. I am set and stoked and steady for it. He'll have no fear like a Sammy scorned. And then we get to the big match. Night 2. The main event. The undisputed WWE Universal Championship match of Roman Reigns. I should call him Romy Reigns, right? Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. All roads lead to WrestleMania. All roads lead to Reigns. I hate the puns. I really do. They're too easy. But of course, we're going to have the son of Dusty Rhodes end it all out. And we know the story. Cody came back. He was over in AEW. He beat Seth a couple of times, tore his damn pec. Had a match with Seth with a torn pec, and I give him credit for that in Hell in a Cell. Disappeared for like 7-8 months, came back, won the Royal Rumble. He did not beat 29 other men. I really hate when they say it like that because he was not entrant 1. He was entrant 30. Just remember that. He eliminated like 2 guys. Just remember that. Please and thank you. Roman Reigns, champions, close to almost 1,000 days. Beat Brock Lesnar last Mania to unify it. Won the title off of Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman in a triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash like 2 WrestleManias ago. Last WrestleMania was Brock. The year prior to that was Ed and Bryan, a triple threat match. Very good stuff to begin with. He's beaten so many people. He beat Goldberg. Technically Seth beat him by DQ, but no one wants to talk about that going from there. He's beaten Braun. He's beaten Edge twice, I think. He beat Daniel Bryan. He kicked right into Bryan. Now he beat Cesaro. You would think that if it's working, it's not going to end, especially since this continues so long. He beat Sami Zayn. He's beaten Kevin Owens. But it's finally time for the Bloodline to end. Part of the Bloodline ends on night 1. Part of the Bloodline ends night 2. Cody had a good match against Solo, the cousin of Roman Reigns. The newest member, I guess, is what you would call him in the Bloodline, even though he's been with the group since September, but the most, rookie-ish of them all. It was a very good match. That was the match that needed to happen because my biggest complaint was Hunter had not sold me that Cody was main event level. I understand he beat Seth 3 times when he came back from April to June. He was injured, and absence makes the heart forget, boys. Sometimes it makes it grow fonder. Like I missed Kenny Omega when he was gone for injury, but I knew Kenny was big stuff over at AEW. I know Cody's big stuff. I understand that. I'm told that Cody follows on Twitter. I'm ready to come back with you, buddy. FJOJR, Dan Frijoles, Charles Shoe, Sports Goofs with an underscore somewhere in there. But what Hunter had booked him as was a match against Baron Corbin and then LA Knight. Mid-card guys. Solo could be the upcomer. You don't know his potential, but at least helped it out. But there's a lot of stories coming here, boys. And there's a particular way that I need this story to end because I found a fun little fact, a fun little nugget that came out to me. Randy Orton might be back. Originally, before Randy Orton got hurt, it was supposed to be Riddle and then Orton challenging Roman come SummerSlam time, and then Randy got hurt, and then, Brock had to come in. Randy used to be in a faction with Cody Rhodes called Legacy because they're all, descendants of, other prior wrestlers. Cody Rhodes, obviously, Dusty Rhodes and his brother, Goldust, Dustin Reynolds, or Dustin Rhodes is now, I think, what he calls himself. Randy Orton, Cowboy Bob Orton, all that fun stuff, and they had Ted DiBiase Jr. in there at some point. But hear me out. You're gonna have this happen. Cody's gonna beat him. I'm 99.9% sure of it. Now, mind you, if Roman won, I'd be running around the house screaming all happy and stuff because I still feel like Cody needs it, but you need this to kind of end to split the titles, to let Raw have a main title, to make wrestling more interesting, because eventually all things get stale. I think Sammy being part of that group helped it from being stale, but there ain't no Sammy no more. You can't rerun the same stories. So let's look at the culmination. This is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I have to have. Everybody has to kind of try to interfere. You're going to have a lot of refs going down kind of thing, and I anticipate this happening. The Usos are going to try to come out, or the Bloodline's going to try to come out to help Roman. Then comes Owens and Zayn. And then the last man standing is going to be Jey Uso as everybody's fighting, because, Solo's a third guy. And then Jay's going to be contemplating whether I should help Roman or not, because remember, he couldn't hurt Roman a couple months ago at Elimination Chamber. He walked away, even though he hurt Sammy. He didn't hurt Roman. Two different concepts, right? Because what happened was, who was Roman's first challenger when he became this whole Bloodline with the ones nonsense come into it? It was Jey Uso. He had a I Quit match in a Hell in a Cell against Jey Uso. And how did he make Jey say I quit? He choked out Jimmy, who was injured at that time, in front of Jey Uso. We're building storylines. So originally I said that it should have been Jey super kicking Roman and helping Cody win. I have a new theory. If the Randy Orton stuff comes in, have Randy Orton come in, hit the RKO on Roman, and then Jey hesitates to go help Roman equal the odds to Cody. Instead, he just walks away. And then you have Cody hit his finisher, get the 1, 2, 3, it's over. Why? Because you can build from that. Instead of a betrayal, Roman wondering why Jey didn't help him when he had the chance, into a SummerSlam match to finish off that story. And I will be happy. I'm also okay with Jey super kicking Roman, but think about it. If Randy is actually there, wouldn't that fit your interest? It's not a full-out betrayal. You get the slow burn, but now you get the title match away from him, right? You just come down to, why didn't you help me? I thought we were family. You shouldn't hesitate. You couldn't pull the trigger. And Jey just I'm just sick of your ish, bro. And that's all I have for you in this WrestleMania packed session with NXT Stand and Deliver. But this could be very good or it could be very bad. Now, mind you, Hunter, your SummerSlam was a little but Vince had some touchings on it because he had just went out the door before held out. Loved your War Games. I love Survivor Series. I love the Royal Rumble. It was hitting all the beats. Even that Mountain Dew Pitch Black match with Bray and LA Knight. You do this. I'm not going to be asking Vince and Kenny McMahon to come back anytime soon. Not for a long time. Because also, absent makes the heart, forgive and then desire and want. So Hunter, do this right. I'll forget about Vince McMahon. That's all I got for you this week on the cage.
Okay. Well, all right. So, it's going to be an interesting weekend for sure.
I'm going to have to put Do Not Disturb on my phone. I'm going to have to shut notifications. I want to know why. Why? Last year's WrestleMania, I wouldn't care. I'm like, yeah, sure. It was average at best. This year, I'm like,
Plus the Final Four. Mm-hmm.
Plus the fucking... God, tough stuff, kids. Tough stuff.
There better be a TV there playing at least the Final Four games.
But I am gonna literally just hotspot my phone, and I'll have an earbud in. And I just be there's not. It's a charity ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, sure, there's got to be a few, FAU and Miami people there, so I don't know the crowd. But anyways, that's it for us. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a good weekend. I'm going to be watching some basketball and listening to some new song suggestions from my boys. Bye-bye.
Night.
Take care.
Goofs is over, get out of here, go do something. Or at least a week, then Charles and Drew and Francisco, you crave and seek Taco Bell time.